Good day, this is MasterLim Tutorials. Today I'm gonna introduce you to the basics of SQL Server, such as writing basic queries. So what are the objectives of this video? First, execute queries, create database, use database, create table, insert to table, and lastly, drop the table. So what is SQL Server? SQL Server is a relational database management system, or in short RDBMS, which is developed by Microsoft. It is based on the relational model of data. This model organizes data into one or more tables of rows and columns with a unique key for each row, which is known as the primary key. So let's get to the point. First, you need to go to the SQL Server Management Studio and connect to the local server. And press the new query at the top. So this is the environment where we will write our queries. So our first query is create the database. So we'll type create database and choose the name you want. Let's say students. And the next step is you need to use the database you have just created, because the default database used is the master. So type use students. And to execute these queries, you need to highlight it and press the execute button. If you want the shortcut, highlight it and press the F5 button. So next we'll create a table. Create table, let's say student without S, open parenthesis. So we'll add columns. So let's say student ID. Next is the data type, int for numbers, or known as integers. In integers, you don't need to specify the data size, comma, to add more columns. Let's say last name, varchar. Varchar is for strings and you need to specify the data size. Let's say 25. Comma, will add more columns. Let's say first name, varchar. And if you won't add any other columns, close the parentheses. So let's highlight it and execute. So now that we have the student table, let's insert data. So we'll type insert into student values. So what will you write here should match in this table. For example, the student ID, it should be integer. So let's say the student ID is 2014, comma, and next is the last name. For varchars, you should put single quote. Let's say week. And the first name, single quote, John, and close the parentheses. So you can now execute this, but I want to add more, so I'll put comma here. You don't need to type this anymore. Let's say 2015 Sina John. So let's execute this. By the way, it should be in order. For example, student ID, last name, first name, first name. So if you put 2014 in replace to week, it will give you an error. So let's execute this. So 2 rows affected, which means the data is now added. So to see that student table, you need to type select asterisk from student. So highlight this and execute. So there, Wick John and Sina John. So if you want to drop that table, by the way, dropping table is very dangerous, because if you drop a table, the table will be empty and erased in the database. So try to avoid using that. I'm using this just for an example. Drop table student, execute. So the student table is now gone. So when you select this, invalid object name student. So that's it for today. Thank you. Tune in to my next video.